Welcome back to Horns High Studios for another episode of Throwing the Horns, brought to you by Horns High Productions. Episode 4 happening tonight. We got the new banner in place, cut to size. Thanks to my beautiful wife for doing that for me. Looks great in here. And thanks to all you guys checking out this new podcast. We're still a new channel, trying to work things out, building the subscribers. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your metalhead friends. Now, we had a couple of good comments, Shane, I wanted to share here. The first one I'll read is from this Judas Priest 666, says, love what you guys are doing and also love the Necrot album you mentioned. So,
hell yeah, that was a killer album.
Yeah, definitely. And then what about that second one, Shane?
Got one from Whips and Chains 77. I think it's awesome. You have an American and a Canadian on here. My husband is Canadian and I'm from California. We live in BC now, and hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Down with the BC bud.
And we got some great releases that we talked about last week, Shane. I mean, Grief God, just absolutely crushing. Dead Tree Seeds is really cool. And then that Atre Billis, those guys are on tour. I just see them with some really wicked lineup that they're going on tour with. So there's a lot of tours happening. And then Bloody Falls and some metal news, man. Ozzy, that was cool, talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I don't know, that's up for debate with metalheads, isn't it, Shane? I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
Whether that means a damn thing or not, you know. Up in Canada, do they have something like that?
You know what? I think they do, but it's even less important up here, so I don't know.
That's funny. But, dude, that Frozen Soul tour, good to see those guys getting on that Cannibal Corpse and Obituary tour. Damn, that's sick. You know, that's a good one. So if you didn't go check that out, you know, go on and watch that last episode we did. So, but I'm one of the hosts of the Murder Metal Mayhem podcast, and Shane, you're one of our guest co-hosts. You come on to talk some crazy true crime and heavy metal. You've been doing it now for a while. And what's that like when we call on you to come in and talk on Murder Metal Mayhem?
Always a pleasure to answer the call, man. Love going on Murder Metal Mayhem. It's always a good time.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun, even though we talk about some pretty dark things. So if you're into that sort of thing, then, you know, true crime and metal both. And we do some true crime videos on the main Murder Metal Mayhem channel here on YouTube. Now, Shane, it's been another wild week, man. Some great metal releases. No, we look forward to coming out, man. What's your go-to, man, to stay up on what's hot and what's going on?
Hell yeah. My go-to, man, has been Twitter X, whatever.
Okay.
That's been my go-to pretty much.
Wow, okay. That's cool. What, if I know technology changes constantly, but what you think about, like, before all that? Like, what was your go-to then?
Oh, shit, you know. Oh, I didn't really have a go-to. I'm pretty random, just clicking on, if you like this, then maybe you'll like this links.
Right. Yeah, I know that, I use Bandcamp pretty consistently now. It's so funny. I go through my email, and you and I were talking about this one album, and then like 10 minutes later, I'm getting an email from Bandcamp from a label, and that the release is out. And I'm like, holy shit, like really like reading my mind kind of stuff. And so I really love the Bandcamp stuff, and the Bandcamp Fridays are super cool because it helps the bands. And I buy a lot of merch on there too, t-shirts. I'm usually go there first and see if I can get them directly from the band like that so that they get the biggest piece of it. But sometimes they don't have it or whatever. So, but I also belong to a few really good Facebook groups that really good death metal or thrash. with links and, all the album art so you can check it out. So really stay up on it pretty well. But before that, I'm thinking maybe Blabbermouth, but, that was, maybe how I would have stayed up on what was going on. And of course, before all that, Shane, back in the day, back when we were first getting into metal in the 80s, it was the underground zines, the magazines, printed on pulp paper and hard to read and really hand done, but they were sick, and great. And they had all these cool bands in there you never heard of, and it's just such a cool time, but so it's come a long way since all of that, you know what I mean?
It's I used to do the zines too back in the day, and I was living in isolation, so I really didn't have word of mouth from a large community of people. It was just, close friends and stuff, but, very small town, isolated, so zines were the only way to really keep in touch with music.
Yeah, for sure. So, Shane, it's been, time to talk about what we've been jamming, what we've been listening to. So what are some of the metal albums that have been shaking those walls there at your place in Winnipeg?
I'll tell you what's been rattling the glass here, man. We have had some Exiled on Earth, their new album, Vertembra, I guess it is. Vertembra. I'm not too sure. But anyways, this is a great album. These guys are a 4-piece out of Italy with one of the guitarists doubling on vocals. So these are your people here, Pete. And,
yeah. Yeah, I loved reading the band members' names, and it's like, the cast of The Sopranos, you throw my name in there, which is right in there with them, So I was like, yeah, these are my brethren here, right? Killer band.
That's cool, man. Just dropped on April 26th, their new album. These guys have been around for a while anyway, since 2000. This is their 4th full-length album. Now, this is just great, aggressive, progressive thrash. It's fairly unique. I hear a mashup of quite a few different brands, or quite a few different genres in here. Goes from thrash to death to speed metal to classic metal, with lots of prog metal in there. And despite all these schizophrenic, the breadth of their genres they crossed, Exiled on Earth somehow manages to pull off a cohesive banger of an album here, man. It's the style of the underlying thrash is aggressive, and it gives me an early 90s vibe. One of the comparisons that I have seen out there is with Paradox, the Heresy album from '89. Have you listened to that one, Pete?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
These guys are tremendous, though, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Really, really.
Vocals are mid-range scream growl, fairly monotone though, but he doesn't really hit the high notes, but it's still good. There's some melodic moments to it with a clean chorus, but it's not the norm. It's only in about 2 tracks. Production on this is great. Mixing is great. Wide variety of drumming, mostly mid-tempo stuff. And if you can tell by the cover here, it has an H.P. Lovecraft vibe to it. A lot of it seems to be inspired by Lovecraft. And they go into the mythos quite a bit. And I did some research on this guy on the cover here, and I'm going to attempt to say the name. I think it's Basuga. Anyways, he takes the form of a centipede creature, and I'm guessing that's what's on the cover here.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that cover. That's really cool, man. But this band is amazing, man. I've been listening to this quite a bit over the last 3 days. I mean, just really tremendous. So I really, really like the band. Really talented guys.
Very catchy stuff, eh?
Really good.
So, yeah, if you like a wide variety of influences, you need to check this album out. It's Vertembra by Exiled on Earth. And next one here is SickOMania. The Devil is Not as Black as He is Painted. And I mentioned these guys last week. They're currently doing a few shows with As in Hell, so I checked them out, and I kind of liked what I heard there. It's a little different. They play mostly a unique style of groove thrash with some death metal elements. There's a few melodic parts in it with both the guitars and the vocals. These guys are a 5-piece out of Denmark and Sweden. This is their second full-length album, and it just dropped. I guess that would have been like 2 days ago now. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. A lot of it reminds me of the Bay Area thrash scene and a mix of new wave thrash metal, heavy dose of 90s groove metal in there. So it's pretty polished, though. Great production and mixing. Vocals are thrash style, death metal growl. Sometimes it get into a bit of a hardcore crossover sound. Not super fast or technical, but it does provide brutality on one hand with a bit of tranquility on the other. You like a bit of old school groove thrash, with some Scandinavian edge. This is something to check out for sure.
Yeah, I love the logo. That's really cool because it's one of those you can read, but it's cool. I really like it. And the cover art, it's really, really cool too. Excellent.
And I just wanted to mention this one here, just a quickie on it. This is Dismayed Bloodletting. This is an EP. This is a bit of Canadian underground metal here for you. I wanted to get in a bit of Canadian content and show a little bit of love for these boys. And not a lot of info on these guys. They're a 5-piece death metal band out of Montreal, Quebec. Formed in 2018. These guys are an independent band. They've never actually released a full-length album. This is their second EP, though, and it dropped on April 19th. It's very raw and DIY sounding, but the production mixing is still very decent. It's very listenable. The bass guitar is mixed in properly. Actually, the bass just pops on it really good. It's not extreme metal. It's more in the old school death metal with the double bass groove. I just found a lot of it catchy. I like the direction they're taking. Look forward to them putting out a full album. Maybe getting someone to mix them a bit better and produce them. Maybe see them on CDN or something. So definitely check out Bloodletting by Dismayed and support the Canadian underground scene.
Hell yeah. I listened to a couple of tracks. I need to listen to more, but there's so much stuff coming out. It's crazy. But yeah, this is definitely worth checking out for sure, man. And then this one, dude, yeah. I've been jamming the hell out of this one. I mean, I think a lot of people have been jamming this thing because it's gotten pretty
I know I have anyways.
Yeah, Rot Stink Rip from Tombstoner. I mean, wow, I was really stoked about it. Really like these guys. They're a 4-piece with 2 guitars. One of the guitar players and the bass player both sing, and they go back and forth quite a bit. And they do call themselves a death metal band, which I would definitely say they are.
Yeah, for sure.
They're from Staten Island, New York. And have been around since only 2019. But for a band with only 4 years under their belt, these guys have put out an EP and 2 full lengths. So pretty impressive. Rot Stink Rip just came out on Redefining Darkness Records, who's out of Cleveland. Really love that label. The Bleeding is also on that label. Maul as well. And this is just that brutally heavy album. Production is really strong, packed full. 11 songs, weighs in at 46 minutes, which is, respectable for sure. The whole thing absolutely crushes. But I gotta say, my favorite track is Fucking Nasty. That's a great one. I'm jealous I didn't write it, but it's heavy but really catchy. That's what I like about these guys is they don't compromise the heaviness for the catchiness. It's just the way they do it. It's fucking cool as hell, and you want to just throw up the horns. You could picture these guys in your backyard at a keg party just jamming. They just seem like that kind of band. So I hope these guys, bigger and better. Nothing wrong with Redefining Darkness because they've got some great bands, but these guys seem like they're maybe ready for that next jump up. I think they're ready, but hopefully they get on some good tours, and that kind of thing, because that, of course, helps. The album art is really cool. It incorporates that whole cannabis vibe with the name, and they got the zombies like going through the cannabis field, and definitely worth to crank it up, man. That's for sure. I think this is probably going to end up on a lot of top tens at the end of this year, if I was to think, right?
Oh, hell yeah. This is one killer album, man. It's just thuggish, and, it's got a really strong identity here. Rot Stink Rip really stands out in the death metal scene. Everything from the fitting title to the artwork, the song titles. They obviously have a sense of humor, but the sense of purpose behind it too. And yeah, fucking Nasty is pretty cool. It really showcases their groove and their hardcore edge. And
because they're from New York, the New York City area, and that's of course world renowned for great hardcore crossovers like Propane and some of those bands that crossed over. And these guys have a little taste of that in their sound, and that I think that humor side of it too. Not taking it too seriously. So really,
it's original sounding anyways. It's definitely a standout release.
Yeah, definitely. And then this one, oh my gosh, I mean, we talk about all this new stuff coming out, and Baron just kills it with this one.
Right out of nowhere, man.
Out of nowhere, Beneath the Blazing Abyss, a very fitting name for that album cover, which I'm going to get to here in a sec. Now, this one hit me hard, and I wasn't really expecting this at all because I never even heard of them. But these guys are a 5-piece death metal band from Helsinki, Finland. Shane, I mean, what is going on in Finland?
Crazy.
It is crazy. We've done 3-4 bands here lately from Finland. I mean, wow, but so many good ones. But these guys,
almost every other week, there's something new from Finland that I'm finding out about.
I know. And these guys have been around since 2015. They got 2 EPs, 1 full length that just came out, Beneath the Blazing Abyss, 7 songs, 45 minutes long. And these guys are on Transcending Obscurity Records, which is another great indie label that I like, and I've got bunches of their releases as well. But I've been jamming the hell out of this one. It's some diabolical, like super heavy death metal. Musically, these guys are really, really strong. I love the entire album. But the opening track, Primordial Possession, is just really gets this album like fired up. When I heard that, I was like, oh shit. And then these guys stick to those death metal roots. They got a lot of the double bass. They got some blast beats tossed in, some cool tempo changes. The vocals, typical kind of death metal growl. I love the eerie guitar harmonies. These guys do some cool stuff, some cool squeals. I really dig that sort of thing, so I like that. Didn't hear the bass as much as I would have liked to, but it's still cool. The cover art,
pretty typical for the Finnish death metal, though.
I know it is true. That's true. But this cover art, Shane, I don't even know exactly what's going on here, other than it looks like a person like engulfed in flames, but
well, there's a guy on the right holding up something, and then there's a bridge.
Okay, now I see that. I didn't see that. Okay, interesting.
That's about all I can make out.
Wow, that's wild.
But yeah, it looks very crazy.
Yeah, it does.
So the guy in the background must be huge.
Right, for sure. So yeah, that's pretty wild. But it's depicting somebody engulfed in flames, I guess, is what would be beneath the abyss. So I guess it's fitting, but it's definitely mesmerizing. It's cool. It's different. But really is a great album. I mean, go on and give that a listen. I mean, holy shit. This is a good one, Shane. What do you think?
No, I concur, man. 100%. This is just high impact Finnish death metal, straightforward stuff. And I love the ominous doom and death metal mix. It's very doomy, and it's just high quality mix of old school death metal with a modern twist on it, man. Just good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, when we were getting ready for this episode, you send me a text and you like, I already know what band you're doing, and you said Tombstoner and Baron. I'm like, yup, you know me too well. That's exactly what I was going to say. Hey, can I do these two?
Yeah. It's a great album, man.
Yeah.
And listening to this, the clean acoustic outro at the dawn of damnation on this album got me thinking about just old school's 80 thrash, when it almost became a staple that there had to be some type of classical or clean acoustic intro somewhere on every album. Sometimes it was a whole track, and
right,
it was almost like a thrash metal trope there for a while. So it got me thinking about what my favorite clean or acoustic intros are, and I came up with a couple here for you, Pete. You'll probably know most of them. Slayer, Spill the Blood. Nice intro there.
Oh, yeah.
Metallica, Sanitarium. And I know what you're going to say. That's so fucking cliche, but it's stuck in my head for whatever reason.
No, it's a good one, dude.
I got an obscure Canadian thrash metal one from '89 here. Disciples of Power, Shades of Grey on the Power Trap album. And then finally, my favorite would have to be Ozzy, Diary of a Madman. That's just some classic Randy Rhoads shit right there.
Oh, man, that's hard to argue with. I got to say, after I saw your list, because you had asked me about this, and I was like, I'm not sure. I mean, I know there's so many of them, but when I saw your list with Diary of a Madman, I'm like, how do I not even? That's the number one of all time, because I love that album, and the way the album ends with that track is just like, good night. Try to top that kind of album. It's unbelievable. One of the most influential albums on me as a metalhead, and definitely as a bass player. The Diary of a Madman album, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, for sure. Maybe Trial by Fire by Testament would be another one, but the ones you mentioned are all good. I mean, Spill the Blood, of course, but the even the cheesier ones. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of Fade to Black. It's just never been a song that I really cared for a whole lot by them, but there's some good ones, man. But what do you think about that new Deicide? I know that I've seen some mixed reviews about it.
Mixed reviews, yeah.
What do you think?
I don't mind it. I kind of like it. It's I've never been a huge fan of them, but it's not bad. It just seemed to me a little bit repetitive. There wasn't much of a change between their past work, and that's really my only gripe with it.
Yeah, I never been like crazy into Deicide. I've always thought they were cool, but nothing against them, just never was my jam.
Totally, man. Yeah.
But I really didn't know what to expect with this album, because I haven't followed like lineup changes or any of that kind of thing. So I didn't know what. I knew Glenn was doing it, of course. And I dig that guy. He seems really cool. Just some really off the wall comments. He totally was in the news here recently with that comment he made about new metal bands now look like, I can't remember who he compared him to, but some dweeb, and it was pretty funny, so, but I'm sure a lot of people got pissed off at him, but, I didn't really know what to expect, and it was good. It was decent. It wasn't bad. The production was good. The playing,
sounds awesome.
The playing was good. But the songs just weren't doing it for me. I listened to about half of it, and I'm like, I got kind of bored with it. It just didn't do it. So, but it's certainly not bad, and I'm sure fans of Deicide probably really dig it. Bands, it's hard to kind of recreate a masterpiece. You know what I mean? So fans sometimes have a hard time understanding that. They want the band to just sound the same, and it's like, you can't. It's kind of trying to create that in a bottle. You just can't do it again, So it's unfortunate, and sometimes bands evolve and get better and better, and then sometimes they just completely fall off the tracks, So, but
like you say, it's a good album and everything, but yeah,
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. So, what's going on in the releases, man. Upcoming
Some new
releases that
man.
you're
Yeah,
excited
there's
about.
there's a couple that I'm pretty excited about here. This one, this was a band that I used to listen to, Biohazard. I heard they're working on a new album. I really liked Urban Discipline, but it's been years and years since that came out, so I'm really curious to see how they've evolved. And I always considered a rap thrash, so I don't know how well that's going to age if they're going to come back with that formula. So it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah.
Another one I'm looking forward to is Crawl Man. They're releasing a new album titled Altar of Disgust. And that's tomorrow, actually. Swedish death metal. I'm going to be all over that shit tomorrow, man. They're great.
Yeah, those guys are really good. I know they did that split with Maul, I think it was last year, and Transcending Obscurity, again, some great bands, but that's where I first heard of them. So yeah, I'm sure this new one's going to be just crushing. Stoked for that.
And Fulci is going to be releasing a new album sometimes this summer.
Oh, cool.
And here's another interesting one. Calvera says they will be re-releasing Sepultura Schizophrenia album. And apparently it will be a re-recording, not a remixing. So that should be pretty cool. Hear them, they're redoing the album from scratch, I guess. Hearing it with today's technology. So
interesting. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I had to do that with a former band from back home on the East Coast, where we went in and re-recorded the songs. And of course they're going to sound different, but they're similar, but different. But yeah, that Crawl, I'm definitely digging that. I really been in this death metal kick, but man, I'm telling you that Exiled on Earth has got me in its hold. It's been tough for me to get away from that. That's just, I'm thankful you turned me onto that for sure. So what about some interesting news going on in heavy metal, man? Some cool stuff to discuss here. Let me get the presentation back up on the screen here.
Yeah, we got a couple tours going on here.
Yeah.
This one here, the Clash of Titans. This is Testament on a North American tour with Kreator and Possessed. That's going to be a hell of a show, and it's going all over North America. They're going to be right here in Winnipeg. It's going to be a midweek show, unfortunately, and
I hate that.
I'm too fucking old to party all night and go to work the next day, so I'm going to have to take a day off. But whatever, I need a day of recovery. It is what it is. And
so you're going to go?
I'd love to see. I'm going to try to, anyways, and love to see Kreator and Possessed, man. It's it should be a good show. Oh,
that's going to be amazing. And I've got our buddy Tex from Murder Metal Mayhem. He's got tickets for this, and they're not coming anywhere close to me. I can't believe they're not. I mean, usually Chicago or St. Louis. I mean, within striking distance. So none of that. So unfortunate, because I don't get out to many shows because of my foot problem with my brace and everything. So this would be one to get me to go, because Kreator, in my opinion, over the years has been one of the most consistent and good live bands I've ever seen in metal. Testament is, man, they're right up there too. Really tremendous. I've never seen Possessed, so I would love to see this lineup with Possessed. I mean, just sick. So yeah, that's a good one, man. That's a good tour. I just wish they had one a little closer to get so I could go. So jealous. I'm jealous.
And here we have, sadly, Jeff Hanneman. Rest in peace, man. It was 11 years ago today.
Wow. 11 years. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but then sometimes it feels like it's been like forever. I see that a lot with things. I don't know if it's the thing as I've gotten older, but yeah, it's sad, because he was a tremendous writer, part of that band.
Yeah.
I mean,
big horns high to him, man.
Yeah, big time, dude. So yeah, sorry about you, Jeff. I mean, that sucks that he's gone. So.
But a couple more here. I already mentioned Fulci, and they'll be releasing a new album this summer, but they actually just joined with 20 Buck Spin.
Nice.
They're going to be touring with Morbid Angel and Suffocation and a whole whack of others that I did not recognize. And so that would be a pretty awesome tour to see.
Yeah, Suffocation and Jungle Rot are in Australia right now, and there's some pictures I've seen with this huge crowd. So just killing it. So all these tours happening, like, holy crap, it's great. You know, I'm glad.
Yeah, Jungle Rot would be pretty wild, man.
Jungle Rot's sick. Yeah, Jimmy, the bass player, is a super cool dude. I've interviewed him on Murder Metal Mayhem. But yeah, just a great dude. But yeah, those guys are sick.
Last one here, we got Gate Creeper. They're doing some extensive touring this year, not only North America, but in Europe. I was looking at their dates, and it's kind of crazy. So on the U.S. leg, they will be playing with Creeping Death and In Flames, so that should be a nice show too.
Yeah. Yeah, I really, really liked that Creeping Death album last year. Just so good. It was in my top 10, I know that. So I've had, of course, a lot of fun talking about metal with you, Shane. I always love doing these. And so if you guys like true crime and metal, you can check us out on the Murder Metal Mayhem podcast. We also have a channel, murder channel that we have here, the main channel, and I'll link to that all down below in the description. But if you like the episode, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and drop a comment below, because that that gets it out to more people, and that's what we're trying to do. So, let your friends know that this is a spot you could check out some good stuff. We've given you plenty of metal to go check out, and you let us know what you think in the comments. Do you like these releases we're talking about, or you don't, or whatever? I'm going to link to the Bandcamp pages for all the bands as well, so you could support them and buy some merch, because that's what keeps these guys alive. Always want to support the underground. So, Shane, I think our job here is done. So what the hell do we need to do?
Let's throw those horns in the air, man.
Again.